Good morning and welcome to the mountains. If you saw yesterday's video, you know why we're here. And I hate coming out to the mountains. And we'll be right back to that, but first for the update. It's day 2. This is the weight loss for today. And I had the first night's sleep fully fasted. Usually I don't sleep very well, but this time I did. I'm also wearing sunglasses because even though it's a pretty cloudy morning, the sun is just so much stronger up here. We're more than a kilometer above sea level. And yeah, I slept great. I feel great. I've lost over 3 kilos in total. But here are the mountains and the countryside. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Because first off, what's not to like? You have these beautiful flowing fields of wheat that are rice other times of year. You have the local train that trots through, and my daughter waves and the train conductor and half the passengers wave back. It's a little Japanese Mayberry. It doesn't show up on camera. I'll try to zoom in. There it is. Snow. It's June. It's the middle of June. And we've got snow. So what's not to like? Well, I'll show you what's not to like. First off, as I said, we're more than a kilometer above sea level, and this can of hot coffee was sealed at sea level and heated up here. So when I opened it, it was like a boiling soda pop. It's not sponsored, it's just what they had. But it was a boiling soda pop. Jokes aside, what is not to like? It's very simple. There is one thing not to like about the countryside up here, because on average, the people are much nicer. The people that don't necessarily like my children and my, skin color, they keep to themselves. Like, what's not to like? And I'll tell you, it's jobs. So we just had a baby, and Japan has a very extensive but interesting parent leave program. So for my wife, she was within the 2 years when my son was born, so my daughter's not 2 yet. And so she could recontinue her parent leave. But the trick is, she had to be close to her work, close enough to commute, so like within an hour by train or drive or whatever. And that meant picking one of the offices. There's regional offices, so that's how we ended up in Osaka. And because of that, we couldn't stay up here and keep her benefits, even though I'm a YouTuber. So once we moved, we got to keep the benefits, and now we have another kid, so 2 more years of having to stay close to those benefits because YouTube doesn't pay that well. And so that's really the only issue, is when we come here, everything is so much better. The water is cleaner. We all sleep better. Like, a weird thing I experienced in Tokyo, we lived right next to the train tracks. I don't know how much that affected it, but I had severe tinnitus. Like, you're not gonna sleep tinnitus. It was so bad that there was nothing I could do. Look, rice fields. There was nothing I could do to stop having tinnitus. And as soon as we come out here to visit the family, my tinnitus is 0, right? Now we live in Osaka, and my tinnitus is half, maybe 40% of what it was in Tokyo. So I can sleep, but I wake up not feeling rested. Whereas here, I can sleep 10 hours and then fall asleep effortlessly that night. I can fall asleep while fasting. And I assume it's the higher quality of sleep because, again, I'm back to 0 tinnitus, the freshness of the air, the water. Here, let's look in a gutter. That's a gutter, guys. Like, that's a gutter. And so all of that, my daughter sleeps better. Everything is better, health-wise, for everyone. The quality of food, we know the local farmers. We go to the health food store to get the best tomatoes in Osaka. And then we have tomatoes here, and it's like, oh, the health food store is full of toilet water. It's just so much better here. But why don't we live here? And it's jobs. We come here and we have to go back to Osaka, and we hate it. It's like the grass is always greener on the other side. No, it's pretty green over here. Like, this is incredibly green. It's not greener in the city. But there's one thing in the city that we have to stay in the city, and that's job opportunities. Japan, more than any country in the world, has urbanized. So if you want a good job, you're going to Tokyo 90% of the time. And 1/3 of the Japanese population lives in Tokyo. And if you look at working age people, I believe it's closer to 50%. If you look at the economics of the country, Tokyo is the wealthiest prefecture by far. Like, the next wealthiest prefecture is right next to it, and it makes like 70% of what Tokyo makes. And there's 40 some prefectures. One of the wealthiest prefectures is Aichi. That's because Toyota is in Aichi. It is literally Toyota's that wealthy. So if you work for Toyota in Aichi, congratulations, you won the game. And I hear you now, why don't I move to Aichi and work for Toyota? Good point. The jobs, it's not just that there's not jobs out here, because there are some, and I found some, but it's like the good jobs are in the cities. And out here, even if you find a job, it's gonna hurt a lot of feelings. And I will put a but before. These blue eyes are not getting that job. It's that simple. It doesn't matter how good my Japanese gets. I know people who speak native level Japanese. A lot of you are gonna say that's impossible. No, it's not. I know people that I've introduced them to my friends over the phone instead of letting them see them, or like they start talking while my friend's looking the other way, and until they turn around and see that white face or the other guy, a black guy, they really thought they were talking to a Japanese person. And the few times they ask, oh, how do you use this in a conversation, the Japanese person's like, how do you know to ask that? I don't know. Even those guys have looked for jobs out here and they can't find them. Now you're going to tell me, I'm sure there's English teaching jobs out there. Well, think of every job in the West. Is Europe just a battle of who can be the best English teacher? Or is it full of companies like Bosch, like all the auto industry, like this new thorium reactor company in Denmark? Think about the USA. I am filming this on an Android phone to post on YouTube. Is that a bunch of English teachers on their spare time? No. And if you look at Japan, English teaching is pretty much the only job that doesn't have a major labor shortage from the population crisis. And the population crisis also stems from this. But Japan needs mechanics. And I had to move to Tokyo to get paid less to be a mechanic than what the dealers out here pay. Because of course, everybody needs a vehicle here. So the mechanics actually make better money here than Tokyo, unless you're working for, of course, there's no Ferrari dealer here. I know someone who works for Ferrari in Tokyo, and damn, I'd love to change your oil for that money. But, like, they need me much more out here than in the city. And I finally found one dealer that would hire me, but I'm currently not being a mechanic for health reasons. That's coming up in the health part of this fast. But over the last 6 years, it's actually changed significantly. There are so many more opportunities than there were. But for the most part, you have to be in the city. And this is not just I'm a foreigner in Japan, know what you picked. That's a fair point. I made the choice. They didn't ask me to stay. My wife asked me to stay. But the rest of the country did not ask me to stay. So when it comes to being Japanese in this situation, it's the same thing. Like, if you know the phrase brain drain, and I may make a video completely about this in the series, we'll see if the fast lasts long enough to keep whining, but brain drain is like, let's pick on Hungary. If you're in a small town in Hungary, you may have noticed that there's people, and those people need healthcare. And healthcare is not a policy, it's a doctor. And if a doctor in small town Hungary, who is a member of the EU, knows they can just move to Berlin or Stockholm and make dramatically more money with much better support of just like, I mean, I'm not saying Hungary doesn't have it, I'm saying small town Hungary versus Stockholm University. And that's brain drain. But in Japan, the only place in the country with a positive population at the working age is Tokyo. Tokyo has the lowest birth rate Sometimes Osaka does, but Tokyo pretty much has the lowest birth rate, but it has the highest youth population in the workforce, because when people out here have a nearly surplus birth rate, they all leave into the city. So there's nothing to grow out here. So there's less people here producing more kids per person. And in Tokyo, it's not even the cost. It's just, you're gonna commute hours, you're gonna work way more overtime, and you're not gonna have a time. And we didn't want to raise kids in Tokyo, even if money wasn't an object. Even if I was a self-employed YouTuber, we didn't want to do that because it's just not a kid-friendly place. They're trying, but they don't have the space. Like, I don't even have to take my daughter to the park here. We can just walk along this train line and she sees all the water, all the fields, all the bugs, all the flowers, and she's entertained for a good solid hour in about a 50-meter walk. But that's essentially what it is the brain drain that's destroying this country is everyone going to Tokyo. Japan tried to pay people to leave the city, and that didn't work because they didn't pay people as much as their jobs or the cost of living. Instead, they need to either tax companies higher or pay companies to start out here. Because like, I forget which company, and I don't want to get a defamation slam, but there was a company in Tokyo, they opened a satellite office in Tokyo 3 blocks away. That's not a satellite office. That's a we need more space and a tax break. So, you know, we got space. Not here, this is a nice field, don't take this field. But we've got space. And we would love to live out here. And if YouTube starts making at least $2,000 a month in total, including Patreon and affiliate links, I would absolutely not be staying in the city. I don't know if we'd move exactly here because I've now got tons of friends in the Kansai region and it's easier to ride year round because like, there's snow right now and it's June. But the mountain breeze that we get when it was melting yesterday, the humidity that we don't have at this altitude, it is just so much, like I can wear a thick cotton shirt in June, in July, in August up here. Whereas even if I'm completely naked in the shade, I'm overheating in Osaka. It's frustrating that the opportunities just don't exist, even if you are native born, to live somewhere like this. And they do, they're just less and less and less. And then the customer base is less and less and less. And because there's no competition, the terrible companies that have you do like 30 hours of unpaid overtime per week are more. Because like, well, where else are you going to go? The local 7-Eleven? So that's it. We would much rather be up here. And we hate coming up here because we know we can't stay. We've had some times where it almost worked out. I'm not an English teacher. I'm not going to be an English teacher because my race is not going to be the start of my resume. And by the way, that is not a slam on English teachers. I know a lot of English teachers that are master's degree holding English professors. That's not the same thing as I'm white, so I'm a bad English teacher. I'm not a good English teacher. I don't want to hurt the students with my bad English teaching skills. So, you know, if you love teaching English, if that's what you went to school for, you should teach English. But to the 98% of foreigners that leave the country, you're now hearing exactly why we leave. We're not allowed to do what we do. But that's it. I will see you tomorrow with the next update. Tomorrow morning we are heading back to Osaka. So if I can't get the video done really quick and posted, it'll come that night. But I'm trying to just get it, load it, and post it as quick as possible. So till then, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.